Hello friends, my name is Nimmy and welcome to my channel. Today we are discussing about a problem that when I fall short of any word while doing conversation, then what should I do? So before discussing about this problem, I want to give you an example. Have you observed this thing that when the dancers stumble while dancing, what do they do? Do they stop in between? No, they don't do this thing. They just keep dancing and they manage the situation in such a beautiful way that no one can understand that they have stumbled. So you also have to do the same thing. Suppose while doing conversation and you forget a word while doing conversation, then what should you do? You just replace that word with a common word. Suppose you want to say that yesterday when I was going to the market, I saw a weird person. So you forget this word weird. So how do you manage this situation? You just replace this word with a common word, that is strange. So strange is also the synonym of weird, right? So in this way you can say like this, that yesterday when I was going to market, I saw a strange person. So in this way you just manage the situation. Okay, but I suggest you don't stop and start recalling that word. So don't do this. I know this is not a permanent solution, this is a temporary solution, but I'm not saying that you should follow it each and every time. I will share you some tips that may help you to retain that word permanently. So what should you do for it? You need to improve your listening and reading practice. The more you listen, the more you read, the more you collect, the more words you collect. Okay, so in this way you can improve your vocabulary. So you can read whatever you want, and you can listen whatever you like. You can read anything. You can read newspaper, you can read magazine, you can read any novel or any story book, whatever you like, and listen many things. You can listen any motivational speech or any motivational videos, Bollywood movie, Hollywood movie, or any other podcast, anything. Okay, so you just do these things every day. Okay, and yeah, this is the thing. And the second thing is that don't try to clutter your mind with all words. Don't try to clutter your mind with lots of words, so because there are lots of words in English, and if you try to memorize all words, or if you try to keep all words in your mind, then it is not possible, right? It is quite impossible. And in this way you also get perplexed. So don't try to memorize, all words, and try to memorize very common words. Suppose you watch different videos and you read different books. So if you get a single word 3 to 4 times, then you understand this thing, that yeah, people are using this word nowadays. Okay, I'm going to give an example of it. Suppose restive. Okay, so restive means restless, but I think restless is more common than restive. So I found I got this restless word many times. So I prefer to memorize this restless word than this restive. So you can do this thing. So don't try to clutter your mind. That's what I wanted to tell you. And the next thing is that you can teach that word to someone, anyone it can be. Okay, you can teach that word to your family member, you can teach that word to your friends, and in this way you can practice. So just when you teach a word to someone, then you need to go through it. You need to analyze that word, you need to examine that word. So it will be helpful for you to memorize this thing. Just like a single word is used as a verb, a noun, as an adjective, as an adverb. So when you analyze this thing, or when you just examine this thing, then you have to go through the word properly or thoroughly. Okay, so it will be helpful for you to memorize it very easily. So yeah, you have to teach that word, or you need to teach that word to someone. The next thing is that whatever language you use or whatever language you speak, just try to use those words in between. Okay, so suppose you speak in Hindi with your friends and with your family members, so just try to use all those words while speaking Hindi, no matter in what language you are speaking to. Okay, so just For example, suppose you are talking to your friends and you can say, अरे जानते हो वो जो नया लड़का आया है ना हमारे कॉलेज में, वो बहुत स्टूडियस है. So in this way you can use all those words in your conversation, and in this way you can practice it. So yeah, you can do this thing. And the next thing that you can do is our mind always remember those words which are related with a story. Not only words, it can be anything. Okay, if you want to memorize anything, then just try to memorize it in the form of story. So when you memorize those words in the form of story, then it will be very easier for you to retain it for a long time period, you know. So always try to cook up a story or make a story with the help of those words, so it will be very helpful for you. In this way you can first of all you get two benefits out of it. First of all, you can memorize those words, and the second thing is that you can train your mind to be more creative. So in this way you just hit two birds with a single stone. So yeah, you can practice this thing and you can see the benefit. Second thing is that you just imagine that word. How do you imagine that word? Suppose you want to memorize this word, or you want to retain this word, grumpy. Grumpy means chidchida, and suppose your neighbor is very grumpy by nature, so you can connect this word, or you just relate this grumpy word with your neighbor. So it will be helpful for you to memorize this word, you know. In this way you just connect and memorize. And the next thing, I'm going to share you another interesting thing that I use it personally, that there are few words in English that are related with very common word, just like promise. Promise is and promising. Promising is related to your promise, right? And there is another word, longing. Longing is related to long, and yearning is related to year, and sensible is related to sense. So promising means honhar. So how do you remember this word? How do you memorize this word? You can frame a sentence by using promise and promising. I promise to my parents that I will be promising. And sense, how can you make the sentence? I can sense that he is very sensible by nature. And yearning, this year I'm yearning for lots of viewers and subscribers. And the meaning of longing and yearning is same, means tarasna, जिसको बोलते हैं. So if you're longing for something, then you have a strong desire for something. Okay, so in this way you just frame sentences, and you can memorize, or you can retain those words. You can store those words or keep those words in your mind for a long time period. It's my personal experience, so I have shared it with you. And the next thing that you can do is, if you want to retain any word in your mind, then you have to follow 2R, that is repeat, and another one is revise. When you repeat or revise those words several times, then it will become your habit. And it's the tendency of our mind, you know. Our mind always think like this, that if we don't use anything for a long time period, then our mind think that it is unnecessary or useless for us, so our mind delete it from our memory. So to realize this thing to your mind, or to make your mind understand this thing, that no, this is not useless, this is very important thing for me, you have to repeat and revise it many times. You have to repeat it, you have to revise it, you have to use it in your conversation, you have to practice it in your daily life, and you can do this thing. You can keep it, or you can retain it for a long time period. And the last but not least thing is that you have to be very curious. You have to be curious, and you have to be very enthusiastic. If you don't show your enthusiasm, if you are not a curious person, if you don't show your curiosity, or if you don't have the zest, then nothing will work. You can't get success. You can't succeed in anything. Even though you know everything, means you know the tips, and you know the rules and regulation, you know everything, the steps, how to retain those words for long time period, if you not be able to do this thing, you know. So you have to be very curious, you have to be very enthusiastic, and you have to be very zestful. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you. And if you follow all these things whatever I have shared in a proper way, then I think you will not face this type of problem anymore. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you liked this video, then hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So see you in our next video. Till then, bye, take care.